Okay, I have two preambles. First, I just turned to Kim Strong sitting next to me and I said, I will pay $1,000 for them to not pull my name next. Because my story cannot follow that story. It's just not going to work. Yeah, I know. How many times did I turn to you and say, $1,000? Which guaranteed that I would be the one. Secondly, like 10 minutes before 7, I left the room and I went over to the other room. I borrowed a pen from the great J.J. Sheffer, who, how many pens do you have with you? 75 pens. And I know we're not supposed to use notes. I'm not going to use notes because I've abandoned this idea, but I just want to say I was going to tell the most heartfelt story about my grandfather that you've ever heard. Poignant, true, Forrest Gump-like. But I've been watching this crowd, and I realized that this crowd does not really respond that well to the poignant, true, the Forrest Gump-like, the heartfelt. Goddamn good story, though, I got to tell you here. So buy me a beer afterward, and I'll tell you all about Bill Duffner. But for this crowd, I'm going to tell you about a night in Wildwood, New Jersey. Anybody here ever been to Wildwood, New Jersey? All right. Anybody here ever been to Wildwood, New Jersey in the early 1980s? Like when the drinking age was really, really young, right? Okay. So it was you. No. So I spent 3 summers in Wildwood delivering pizza for Domino's, which is a sexy fucking job, I gotta tell you. Because you're wearing your blue Dickies work pants, right? And your red, white, and blue Evel Knievel shirt. And a red, white, and blue nylon baseball cap. It's sexy. So that night when the call came in to Domino's Pizza from a woman with a very sexy voice who said, yes, I'd like to order a pizza and I'd like to have it delivered by your best looking driver. And Jimmy Rucchio, who was our best looking driver, was on the phones that night, not driving, and he turned around and laughed his ass off and said, you guys gotta hear what just happened here. And he says this, and all of us dweebs, total losers working at Domino's at the beach all summer long, were like dying for the opportunity to deliver the pizza to whatever woman called in and asked for your best looking driver. And our manager, Butch, who Butch in the 1970s had won the Pennsylvania Heavyweight Wrestling Championship of the state. Butch was about 750 pounds. Butch had been seriously a hitman for the mob in Wildwood back in the days when the gangsters and the mob really ruled Wildwood. He was a finger breaker, right, to collect debts. Butch was now our manager. And Butch had heard all of us talking. He comes striding out in the room and he goes, shut the fuck up. Whoever gets the pie, whoever's name is up when the pie comes up, that's who gets the pie. Just sit down and shut the fuck up. And we all sit down and we all shut the fuck up. And as fate would have it, much like tonight, my name came up at exactly that fortuitous moment. And I mean, I was pretty fucking excited because she sounded really sexy on the phone. And I mean, even Jimmy Rucchio was turned on by her. And Jimmy Rucchio was like the most beautiful man you'd ever seen. And we were like, and everybody worshiped me. It's like, oh, Randy gets to deliver this one. I get the pizza, and I go to the hotel, and I'm like, this is serious, man. I take off the baseball cap, I brush my hair back. I try to brush the smell of pizza grease off of me just a little bit like this. And I go up, and God's honest truth, I knock on the door, and the door opens, it swings back, and truly one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen in my life is standing there in a black lace teddy-like thing. She's about 5'6". She is stacked and packed and gorgeous. She's like not a Playboy playmate. She's like a Penthouse pet, right? I mean, she's slutty. She's slutty. And she's standing there, and the door just wisps open, and she steps back, and she goes, do you have my pizza? And I'm like, I have something. And she goes, you can just set it right over there on the table. So she invites me in, and she steps back, and she says, I can set it there on the table. And my knees are like jello. Like, it's finally happening. The Penthouse letter to Penthouse. It's finally happening. I'm a student at a small suburban campus, and it's going to happen. And I look over on the couch, and there's somebody else sitting there, and it's another girl, And she's like really, really big. I mean, I'm like Jabba the Hutt big, just sitting there on the couch with like no facial expression whatsoever. She's just sitting there like, and I have no idea what to make of this. I'm way out of time. All right. Should have told the Bill Duffner story. All right. So I leave the pizza there and I try to talk her into like whatever's going to happen next. And she's like, no, you have to leave. You have to leave now. And I'm like, no, surely something else happens because something else always happens in the letter. And she's like walking me back to the door and she said, I swear to God, this is true. You have to leave now. You have to leave because I need to masturbate now. And at that point, I almost died. I almost left life instead of love life. Right? I mean, right? That actually happened. And I'm like so stunned. And she pushes me back. And I'm like out the threshold of the door. And the door closes. And the night's over. And I go back to the store and the pizza place. And I'm telling the story. And I'm like in utter disbelief of this whole thing. And everybody believes me because I'm about having a stroke right now. And Butch comes into the room. And he goes, "You're a fucking idiot. I can't believe that you did that." I'm like, "Butch, what do you mean? What would you have done?" He goes, "There could have been guys hiding behind the door ready to club you and said that, you were trying to sexually assault or whatever. You're a goddamn idiot. Butch, what would you have done?" You know what I would have done? I would have done this. Butch reached out his tongue, and I swear to God, he reached out his big fat tongue, touched his forehead, and went like Scooby-Doo and licked his entire face. And he said, "I would have done that, I would have taken the money, and I would have walked out the fucking door." That's what I would have done.